Hey everyone, it's the Anime Sickos. We're back after our week off. We made a joke on Twitter that we were so tired that if we were going to record an episode, it would just by default be about going to sleep. Turns out a bunch of you actually wanted to hear the sleep episode.
We're not doing that though, so
yeah.
It's not happening. We didn't really go to sleep because Hades came out.
Yeah, I don't do sleep anymore. I play Hades until it's morning. And then I go to work, which I now fully, in my mind, conceptualize only as the thing that makes Hades go away. So I hate it way more.
Yeah, there's been a lot of roguelikes happening on the general population that I think has been unfair lately. I'm fine accepting that I have a shitty brain that craves them, but they are leaking out. They're getting into the general gaming mana. It's not good.
Yep. I mean, if the roguelikes are going to be like Hades, I think that's fine. Hades is not the kind of roguelike we're talking about when we're doing Sicko Shock and talking about how roguelikes are a meat grinder that grinds your soul. That's the kind of shit that I think that I surely hope that the industry has moved past, because oh man, those bad roguelikes. I think about all the hours I spent playing Binding of Isaac in college. That game, almost every single design decision is designed to maximize anti-life energy.
Yeah, if you're fucked pretty early on, right? And so the whole game is basically like a slot machine to just get to play.
Yeah, if you don't get a damage up power up in the first two floors, you're not screwed, but every single enemy is going to take 30 seconds of concentrated attacks to kill, and so you're going to be playing a very boring game that sucks. Also, you pick up pills and you don't know what they do until you take them, and half the time it just hurts you.
Yeah, I hate that shit. I hate unidentified objects in games. I will say though, you kind of talked up Ring Fit, and you made a lot of good points, and I started playing it. And then I realized I can just sit on the recumbent bike I have and play Hades, which is better than Ring Fit. Your way sucks. Your way is for nerds who like getting good grades.
Fuck.
I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner. I'm going to be so ripped.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. Joe, I think we want to talk about games criticism today. Has anyone ever had any critiques of games criticism as a form? Has that happened?
So this is gonna shock you, but it turns out yes. I found this out last weekend. Yeah, it was a shocker. I guess people get real upset about numbers. A game is a 7. That changes people's weeks, I guess.
Yeah. There are people out there that you probably know, a couple of them, who if a website puts a 7, the number 7 next to a video game, they're like, I wasn't gonna send a death threat this week, but now I gotta.
So we've been really kind of hitting the books. We've been spending a lot of time lately in underground libraries.
Extremely dusty.
Yeah, that are just filled with dusty books. Some of them have covers made of human skin. We don't touch those. That's gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did a lot of research because we really wanted to dig in and figure out how can we make game criticism and game reviewing bulletproof and perfect.
Yeah, and the discovery is big. This is a big deal. So, Tom, would you be so kind as to drop the knowledge?
Yeah. I want to give you the primary source. I don't want to just summarize it and fuck it up. So I'm gonna have to get this specific dusty tome off the shelf. It's huge. So this is oh my god. I just got up the shelf. I'm holding it in my hands. Oh god, it's heavy. Let me just put it down on the table. God, I'm beat.
Oh man, you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate
wait,
me.
no, Joe. Wait 1 second. Wait till after I open the book.
No,
it's so heavy. Ooh, the dust. Oh, it's getting in my mouth. Oh, it's almost open.
It's the wrong book. You didn't get the right one. You just grabbed the closest one.
Oh shit! No, you're totally right. Oh, my bad. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pick it back up. All right, it's back on the shelf. Yeah, this is the real book. If I had looked for like a second, I would have known. This is the tome that I meant. This is the one that has the discovery in it. Let me get it down. It's even heavier. So wait. Yeah. Oh god, it's so heavy. Let me just put it down on the table. Oh, that was a big one. All right. Now we're gonna open it up.
Okay, take us away. I am pumped.
First, Joe, I gotta get to the right page. Oh, I found it. Here it is. This is Joe. This is what we spent all of the last month researching, trying to find it. We found this incredible discovery. Here it is. We invented the perfect way to do games criticism. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
All right, so you know how every year there's a big paper by climate scientists and everyone's like, "Oh, this is the paper. This is the one that shows us we're fucked, but it's a great paper." This is the sicko version of that. Like this is our life's work.
Yeah, this is the one that comes out in all the science journals, hoot and holler. Also, like, wow, great job, Poindexter. I was looking at the blood sky, and I was like, can't tell if that's good or not. So, thanks for your great paper. That really fucking put me straight. Joe. So I understand that we came up with a bunch of criteria to judge a game completely objectively in a way that no one can get mad at and determines its quality 100%. Is that true? How many criteria do we have?
It's a simple list of 11 items.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh. And if you apply these items to any given video game, you can determine with 100% accuracy, is it good?
Yeah.
We'll be using some examples. I think one example that we might come back to over and over, because it's a game that a lot of people consider a classic, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. So we can prove if that game's good or not as we go through these examples.
Yeah, and that game is largely understood as like a masterpiece, and we both enjoyed it, so I'm sure this will all map out.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just dive right in. We've done a lot of stupid fucking table setting. The first criteria for is a game good is, do you build a deck?
Yeah, this is a pretty easy yes or no question. So like
in Monster Train, you build a deck, right?
Yeah, that game kicks ass. Is that better than Breath of the Wild? Yeah.
I mean, Breath of the Wild, there's no cards for one, so you can't build a deck. So it's possible you could build a deck when you don't have cards. Like Hades, like the boons are kind of like cards, and you build a deck of boons. Is that fair?
That's like a partial credit.
Yeah.
If there are mechanics that are standing in for cards but are acting like cards, there's a game I tried recently called Unrailed, and it's just like you and three friends have to build a train and its tracks as it's moving, and you can't stop. And you get car upgrades the same way you would get new cards. Yeah, so it's like the train is the deck. It's not a deck builder, but like it's scratching the itch. That's partial credit.
The thing about the deck and why building a deck is so fucking good is that what is life but just like every day you get new shit and it's awful. And it's often repetitive because those are the cards in your deck. You have a shitty deck in real life is what I'm saying. And what this game where you can build a deck does is it shows you a happy nice card that's a tasty treat. And you can put it in the deck, and then when the thing happens that you know from your real life, which is another awful day if your existence rolls around and the same things happen, when that happens in the game, well, you just might draw a tasty treat and have a great time.
A deck builder is you like buying Halloween candy for yourself. It's just you're stuffing the bag and then you're surprised a minute later like a fucking moron.
And the even better thing, Joe, is that you're buying Halloween candy for yourself, and after you eat it in like a bit, you'll have it again.
Yeah. Until you sleep, basically.
Yes. It's fucking incredible. Monster Train kicks ass. Zelda doesn't have decks, so it seems like Zelda sucks. Let's move on to the next criteria. Do you upgrade a town?
Yeah, this is pretty crucial. I don't know if you've ever played a game where you upgrade a town, but you really notice when it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. Sometimes, like, you play a game and a mission ends, and then you don't get any lumber, and you don't tell, like, a little, like, Playmobil guy to build something. That fucking sucks.
Yeah. When you're in a game with a town, chances are just because you're playing a game and you enjoy the time you're spending, you're going to be like, well, I like this town. Like, this town kicks ass. And you're going to be like, I'm content with this town as it is. And that's just going to make the fact that eventually you can beautify the town hit so goddamn hard. Because, like, I already loved this, and now I'm paying it back.
Stardew Valley is good. You fix up a town.
Mm-hmm. There used to be Amazon there, but then you kill them and you kill God, and Jeff Bezos eats his own poop in front of everyone and they laugh. That's how I understood that cutscene to be.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it. That's my reading as a reader.
That's a solid reading. And also, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles has a fun sort of mechanic where you are on a caravan that goes adventuring, and the whole purpose of which is to send food back to your like baking family in the town so that they can become better like bakers and support their little cute town. Yeah, give me that shit.
Hades, like the office where Hades and you live, it's very shitty at the start, but you can spend gems and make it pretty. It's incredible. Every time you come back after you die to the break room and it's nice and plush because of the work you did. Holy moly.
Yeah, I didn't even fucking play Metal Gear Solid 5 yet, but I know that there's like a town of homies on an oil rig, and then you can just like beat them up, and they like say thank you, daddy. It's very strange. And like, so I haven't played it yet, but like that moved it up in the queue because I know there's a town waiting for me.
And Monster Train, there's not a town, but when you think about the actual titular train, well, it's a big train where all of the devils live, and when you get a new card to your deck, well, the cards are like people. They're like the people who live in the town. And when there's more people, the town is stronger. So in a way, you upgrade a town in Monster Train. Am I right?
Yeah. You know, people online have affectations for like specific Animal Crossing villagers.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about every card in Monster Train. They're all my sons. Especially the shark that does frostbite. I love him. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. And actually, Joe, if we look at Zelda Breath of the Wild, well, if you look at that, you upgrade a town in that one. Pretty famous subquest with Terry Town. You build it from the ground up.
Yeah. So good on Zelda. It's not like the whole game, so that kind of sucks. But they do objectively have a town you upgrade.
This is true. Alrighty.
Number 3 is a real no-brainer. Are there classes and or builds?
The more the better, honestly, just as much as possible. Unique mechanics for each of them. Special passives, for different builds and different classes. Honestly, the ideal would be just like a shit ton more of them get added halfway through.
Yeah, you could also just give me like a skill tree that doesn't do anything, but like I still like fill it out. Like that's fine.
Like there's a skill that's like plus 50% tomatoes, and you're like, holy shit, that's such a huge boost to my tomatoes. You don't need to know like what tomatoes are for.
No, I'd be blown off like work instant messages because I'd be like theory crafting around tomatoes. It would fucking rule.
It's like I am getting a critical tomato every 5 times I have a tomato, and then I have plus 50 tomatoes, so it's almost as though that's a 7.5% increase to the critical rate for my tomatoes. And when I get a critical tomato, it's 300 tomato. So if I have a 7.5 chance of getting a critical and it's 300 tomato, that's almost like it's like a flat increase of something like 40 or 50% damage.
And then the trick is you do all that mental math you just did, and then you realize you read the tooltip for one of the skills wrong.
Yep.
Well, it really fucks up your model.
Yep. That's the fun shit. So this is where Monster Train really fucking shines, because it's got 5 different factions, each with a unique champion, and then there's 3 different flavors of that champion. So it's almost like there's 15 factions.
Yeah.
And then, Joe, what'd they do?
They just added a bunch of new guys.
Yeah, just 5 new guys. Really cool, new, special, unique powers that weren't in the game before. And now we get to think about all the different ways that those powers can be used in builds.
Yeah. Yeah. If they somehow had the development resources to like drop new guys, like I don't know, every 2 months, I might not need another game. That's how important it is to just add to builds. Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, noted masterpiece Breath of the Wild. You got builds, Joe?
I mean, I guess you could like build around not picking up shitty shit that breaks when you swing it, which is my main complaint with the game. But yeah, there's really no way you can like add to Link's run speed.
Yeah, you can't do like a poison run for Link. Like you can't decide to like go for a critical run.
Yeah.
Link just is Link, and he's sort of that way. Like you can put different armor on him, and the armor has effects, but like it's sort of one and done. Like the armor says what it does, and you can't like synergize.
Where's the synergy? There's none.
There's absolutely none. It's honestly like a slap in the face, a deep insult to me personally, that there's no builds. But you know what isn't an insult? Is when number 4 on our list of criteria happens, which is, do I get to collect a gem?
Yeah, Zelda crushes it in this category. They correctly realize that money is stupid. A wallet should be a big bag of rocks.
Yeah, rupees are gems.
Yeah, they're just gems. You pick them up, and there's like a pleasant tingling noise, and you get to learn the colors of the different denominations.
Yeah, here's the problem with Breath of the Wild, though, Joe, because if this was the only Zelda game, I'd be with you 100%. But I think this is the Zelda game that most devalues the classic gem experience of seeing a... I gotta make this clear. What we're talking about with the classic gem experience is you see a floating gem in the game world that's in the air.
Yeah, it can never touch the ground.
Of course. And when you go up to the gem and you touch it, you suck it into your body, and there's a nice pling sound. I think of all the Zelda games, Breath of the Wild makes that experience extremely rare, and when it happens, it's not even satisfying, because, like, what are you picking up that's floating? Like 1 rupee at a time. This is a game where like the economy is at such a scale where like the purchases that you're going to actually need to make that affect the game are like thousands of rupees. And you're not going to pick up thousands of gems. They added the fact that you can pick up floating rupees into the game as like a nod to the old way. But that's just not how it is anymore.
No. The older, like, Link to the Past is better because, like, you can just cut bushes all day and, like, just money comes out. And because they're all, like, contained in one screen, you can just leave and come back.
Yeah, like, and when you kill a guy in the old games, a fucking gem pops out of him and you get to walk and touch the gem, and then you become part of the gem. The gem becomes part of you. It's a beautiful experience. When you kill an enemy in Breath of the Wild, it gives you like an ancient shaft, which you gotta sell to someone for like 150 rupees, which like, yuck. Where's the joy?
Yeah, there's this weird middleman there. I don't need that.
Yeah. Whereas in something like Hades, Would you believe that there's an entire currency literally called gemstones?
Yeah, they look great. I want to see more of them. You only see the 3 that are like in the icon, but I want to like.
They look like Jolly Ranchers. I want to eat them so bad. Get in my mouth.
Yeah, they're for sure ring pops is what they are.
Shit, yes. Okay. So Joe, what's so great? Why is it so important that in a game you get a gem? What's the deal? Why do we want it?
Like, of all the fantasies and like life experiences I will never have, like just touching a gem is like up there.
Touching a gem like in real life where it doesn't like disappear and you like next to your head is a little icon of a gem that goes from 0 to 1. You're talking about like you'll never just like touch a precious stone.
No, like maybe once, but like the idea that they are so plentiful that it's like boring, that it sucks, that in fact 99 gems is a hateful number, but 100 is a pleasant, enjoyable denomination. That's a type of life that I will never lead. So I'm getting like some escapism on that front.
Yeah, also, I mean, let's just address the elephant in the room. It's numbies. I mean, the fact that like it's numbies is the real thing. Like if there was only one gem, that would suck shit. You got to see the numbie get big as you get more gems to the point where like the reason you want a gem is so that the numbie be big.
Like, can you imagine how bad the Mario 64 levels would be if instead of collect 100 coins, it's find the coin?
Fuck. Unplayable.
Yeah,
holy
it'd be
shit.
bad. And gems are coins in most circumstances. Like they're a poor man's gem. But
Yeah.
if the sound is good enough, and it often is, they're gems.
It's like you're just eating a crappy sandwich. You're still eating a sandwich. If you wanted a sandwich and someone gave you a subpar sandwich, you'd be like, you know what?
Yeah, this is a meeting. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Joe. What's the next criteria up on our list of objective facts that prove if a game's good or not?
Does the player have to hear another human's voice in order to play as intended?
So this, I think, is the most important of all of them. In that, if the answer is yes, if in order to play it the way it's intended, it is possible to hear a 12-year-old talk to you, the game is terrible and it should never have been made.
Yeah. There's a lot of games where there'll be like an amazing cooperative experience in matchmaking with randos, and I'm like, oh no, that sucks. I guess I'm not playing it.
Like a lot of times there are team games and you might play it and be something like, oh, this is so much fun. I want to learn how to get good at this and really, really dig into the meat of the fun. This game sure is good. And you go online and you're like, how do I get good at game? And it's like, here are some tips. And it's like, ooh, that's a fun gameplay tip that I can't wait to implement. Oh, that one also, I didn't know about that. Now that I know that, I'll be better. And then like the article will be like the final tip. And perhaps the most important is to make sure you have a headset and are communicating with your team. And then I uninstall the game.
Yeah. And you can't always just do the thing where you're like, well, I don't want to hear random people. Like, I have 5 friends. I will do, me and 5 friends will join an arranged team in this game, and we will play against other people, and we will only hear the voices of people we don't dislike.
Yeah, that's fucking fool's gold, Joe. That doesn't work. That's you're tricking yourself by thinking that.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that sucks as an option is because if you play with 5 friends, the matchmaking game will like give you your opponent who is like a team wearing tracksuits. Like they live together, they like sleep in a big bed where they game. Like they're gonna destroy you.
Also, like when you're playing a game where people can talk to you and you fuck up, which guess what? You will when you start, because that's how human beings work. Randos are going to yell at you and call you horrible slurs, and you're going to feel like shit, and it's going to be the worst time you've ever had in your life, and you're going to uninstall the game and regret that you purchased it. If you were to go on with your 5 friends and just talk to them, if you fuck up there, they're not going to yell at you, but like the hollow disappointment they're going to feel.
Like You have to go to bed knowing you fucked up your homie's ultimate. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. You're like, hey, homies, let's all work together to create a good time for ourselves. And then halfway through, you're like, by the way, I'm going to sabotage all of this with my own incompetence. You're all going to have a miserable time because of me.
You know how all I had to do was press E when you said go? I fucked it up.
What I did was I already pressed it a second ago.
I pressed that way before you started talking. I really biffed it.
I'm like, they're never going to roast you for it, but you almost wish they did. And you know what would prevent this? Is if you couldn't fucking hear anyone talk. If it just wasn't possible for a voice to come out of the speaker. Joe, in Monster Train, can a voice come out of the speaker? If I play a unit in the wrong spot, do I get to hear someone calling me a slur, and or do I get to hear you just being like, oh?
Only if you're streaming, but normally no.
Yeah, fuck streaming. We don't do that for that reason. Ha ha!
Until we decide we will.
Yeah, well, who knows? Jonah, Breath of the Wild, we've been ragging on it. It's been failing over and over these criteria. I gotta say, A+ on not hearing a human's voice. Not even a lot of voice acting.
No. Like, the starting area is bleak. The only other, like, thing you interact with is, like, the ghost of the weird king.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a voice. It's just text. I hate the sound of a human voice. I can't stand it. And you listening to a podcast at home, I bet you feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay, so a game should not force you to hear another human's voice. But, like, there's stuff you do want to have in a game. You want a good thing. Like, what's the good thing you want all the time? It's a fucking treat. I want a goodie all the time.
Constantly give me goodies. There should never be a moment where I'm not being given treat goodies in my game.
Yeah, and like when we say goodie, do we mean like an actual in-game item, or do we mean like positive reinforcement, like maybe like a bar in the corner that's like says S rank? Honestly, I don't care. They're both good.
Yeah, I mean personally, I like the stuff. I like it in Monster Train. Every time you win a fucking fight, what do you get? Do you get a pat on the back? Do you get told you did a good job? No, that's actually a big flaw with the game. I wish they would do that. But what you do get is a bunch of gold. Wow. You also get a new card. Wow. That's a goodie. And sometimes, Joe, you get like a weird rhombus that gives you a power.
Yeah, the treasure chests are around by for sure.
Yeah, getting a goodie all the time fucking owns. And like you might be saying like, well, Tom, if you're constantly getting a goodie, doesn't that just devalue the experience of getting them since it's just so repetitive and constant? Well, good question. The answer is fucking no, idiot.
Yeah, no, in fact, doing it the way where there's not goodies devalues my time because you're filling it with a bunch of shit that isn't goodie related.
Yeah. Like, this is why Binding of Isaac sucks, because so much of the Binding of Isaac experience is punitive and sort of like, fuck you, haha, we tricked you. That sucks, because what should be happening every time I play a game, the game should be implicitly telling me, like, I love you, daddy, I got you a gift, do you like this? You do, I got more, I'll do anything for you. That's what I want out of a game. Give me a goodie.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild... There's goodies. Yeah, I mean, like, there's literally, like, little, like, seed people buried everywhere. That is, like, the definition of a goodie. There's, like, 1,000 of those, right? Like, straight up 1,000 of them.
I think 900, but Joe, think about this. How good are those goodies, really? Because, one, you have to do, like, work to find them. What I like is, let's go with Hades, for example. Every single room you get a goodie at the end. Just for playing the game the normal way. You don't have to go out of your way to get the goodie.
Not only do you get a goodie at the end, you actually know what the goodie is before you walk in the room.
Yes, you get to like take out your fork and knife and bang them on the table and lick your lips, knowing what goodie you're gonna get, which owns. But in Breath of the Wild, you have to go out of your way. You have to do a little fucking chore, and then you get a goodie, and you get your dopamine hit. But then you realize that like in Hades, you can use the goodies for like getting stronger or buying stuff. In Breath of the Wild, you use the goodies to upgrade your inventory space, which we've said our piece on that before, haven't we?
Yeah. Also, the goodies in Breath of the Wild break. That fucking blows.
Yeah, you get a cool sword. It breaks.
Yeah, nothing breaks in Hades.
Yeah, no. Except my sleep habits.
Yeah, those are fucked, but whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, okay. We've gone through getting a goodie all the time. Obviously, we want to get a goodie all the time. This goes outside of the realm of video games. In life, I just want a goodie all the time. That's why I eat so much fucking chocolate. It's so good. Have you had chocolate before, Joe? Have you heard of this stuff?
I don't actually keep anything in the house that like I don't want to just eat in a pile like on the floor. It's not good.
Yeah. Anyway, we want to get goodies. But there's like a special type of like abstract goodie that is, I think, the most sweetie treaty that any game could ever give you. Joe, what's the sweetie treaty?
We're talking about exponential scaling.
Oh my god, even hearing you say, I'm thinking about the numbies get big, Joe. Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, we talk about getting power-ups all the time, and like games give you power-ups all the time. Like, power-ups are boring because they often just like change one thing. The real dopamine, the real uncut shit is when a game lets you power up in a way that you know is quite literally exponential.
Like, a lot of times you'll get a power up and it's like plus 10 attack. And it's like, oh, well, it's done. Like, the power up is done. The 10 attack got added and we're done. But when you get a multiplier, oh my god. Oh my god.
There's like such a simple pleasure in Monster Train when a unit has multi-strike and you're like, okay, so this guy hits twice. And then you click your mouse and then he gets like plus 10. But then his multi-strike kicks in and you're like, oh fuck. But then he also buffs on hit.
Oh my god.
And he hits twice, so it actually will buff twice. And I just fucking realized that his rage doesn't decay anymore. Oh no. And like that's what gaming is. Anyone who tells you it's about a story or playing in the magic circle or whatever it is, that's all fake.
Yeah, no, it's exponential scaling. Joe, I know we've never been horny, and I hope this doesn't break that vow, but I gotta tell you. So you know how in Monster Train, there's the new champion for the Umbra, which is the Eating Clan, which is a big guy who wants to get eaten 10 times.
Yeah, he's like he's looking for his vor mommy. It's really fucked up.
So, Joe, did you know? I know you did. Listener, did you know that this guy, his ability is that when he gets eaten, which again, he can get eaten like 10 times, he gives all of his buffs to the person that ate him. And did you further know that the person who eats him keeps those buffs? So if the fucking little Tootsie Roll man has, let's say, 20 rage, when the guy eats him, he'll get 20 rage. And the next time he'll have 40 rage, because it's 20 plus 20. Oh, and did you know that one time I had a unit that made rage super strong? And I had a cards that let me put something like 100 rage on the Tootsie Roll man every turn. And would you believe that the guy who kept eating him had multi-strike 3? Would you further believe that by the final boss, this motherfucker who was eating the Tootsie Roll every turn had something like 3,000 damage per hit that he was doing 3 times?
What you're describing is like why I get up in the morning. Like, that is incredible. Like, and honestly, like, head to head, what was a more pleasurable experience? All the time you spent playing F-Zero as a kid, or that one series of numbers in that run? It's pretty close. It's close.
I know what morality says and integrity says that I should say, but I'm looking inside of my black heart, and every beat it goes numby, numby, numby. So yeah, Joe, it's when the Tootsie Roll man made the exponents go.
Also, if like you went back in time to show yourself like, 12-year-old do Monster Train, they'd be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Oh, like, oh shit, this racing shit is for the birds. The Numby can only get so high in that. I mean, it gets high, but there's a cap. Exponential scaling, there's no cap.
The only problem with exponential scaling, which as a criteria should be in every video game, hands down.
Yeah.
But the sort of problem, just like ethically, is if you play a game where you had a ton of power-ups, you had the exponential scaling going, eventually that will end. And then you'll go back to playing the game how it used to be, and it feels like absolute baby trash. You can't imagine how you could ever play the game like this again. Like, your guy moves so slow, it sucks.
The numbers only have like 2 digits, 3 at the most.
No, you can actually read the numbers. That's what it blows. It's like when you can actually discern what the value is. It needs to be like a chaotic series of integers that you can't actually like understand, but you just know they're like rooting for you.
Yeah, like in Monster Train, you really get the exponential scaling going. Like, the space that the game designates to show how much damage a unit's going to do isn't big enough. And it, like, auto resizes the text to be smaller so it'll fit. And it just looks like some white noise. It's the best feeling on Earth.
Yeah, like, you've advanced past the need for symbols. Like, they don't mean anything.
And Joe, you say this is a problem. That when you go back to normal, when your additions are just additions and not multipliers, that's a problem. But think of it this way. You've tasted heaven. You know heaven is real. You don't have to have faith anymore because you've been there. And you can go back.
Oh, I get like God now. Oh, shit.
Goes without saying, Zelda doesn't have any fucking exponential scaling. Master Sword does 60 damage and that's all it does. Sorry, bitch.
Yeah, it glows, but whatever.
Zelda sounds like it really blows ass.
It's not doing great, but again, like, that's what happens when you really break ground here. Science, this powerful, makes enemies.
Yeah.
So here's something Zelda, I think, does pretty well. Does it have a big codex of lore?
Yeah, we're not like weird Numby men who only want to see the hard math. We love reading lore. Give me some of that lore. Like, for example, in Monster Train, would you believe that in this game that has no story other than hell, our home, protect the Bone Shaker, there's a train, every single fucking card in the game has a big paragraph of purple prose with stupid lore about the hell, fucking the wars of hell.
I can't have that on. If it's on, I read it and like I just can't stop thinking about it because there's like a half a page about like a shark that's naked.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking good.
I spent something like 20 minutes reading the lore on all of the Candle faction cards and trying to parse the difference between Candle guys who have a wick and are lit and wickless Candle guys who are just made of wax and do not burn. And why there were 2 versions and what the difference was. And here's, I think, the crazy thing about the Monster Train lore is that it's so unclear and references things you couldn't possibly know. Which may sound like a criticism. Fucking no, I love it.
No, I need like that gap. There needs to be like the weirdness of the lore, and then like there needs to be some sort of space that makes it like weird and kind of fun to discern, and then me. Because Monster Train is doing that perfectly.
And you said Zelda does have some lore. Breath of the Wild's got lore, but I don't know that it has the kind of codex that we're talking about, where like every couple of seconds something new is getting added and you can open it up and it's this huge index full of just the most slop ass writing about fucking monsters and shit. Like, you can't open up a fucking codex entry and read like a fun short story about like one time a Lionel like broke a mountain with his sword.
Yeah. Really, I think the lore for Breath of the Wild is that like everyone wants to fuck Link and he doesn't know Like, that's the gist of the lore.
Yeah, the first thing that happens in this story of Breath of the Wild is that he wakes up from this regeneration chamber, and he has amnesia. And what that manifests as is, like, he never did anything in his real life. So he didn't, like, forget who he was because he wasn't anyone. The only thing that he actually forgot is what being horny is. So that's, like, the main sort of crux of the game.
Yeah, and you go from town to town, solve everyone's problems, and every village has, like, some person who's like, hey, do you understand what's going on? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to address here? And then he continues to chug milk.
Yeah. No, he just simply does not. Hades also has a shit ton of lore. Just the amount of every time you talk to someone in that game, they're like, hey, do you want to know some shit about the Greek gods? And I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, please. And I've been playing for like probably like 30 hours of Hades gameplay at this time. Do you know how many repeated lines of lore that I've read? None. It's new every time.
Yeah, it fucking whips. Although I do have a soft spot for like the JRPG thing where there's like an NPC who exists only to say welcome to town.
That's the job I want. That's like the Walmart greeter except like ethical.
Yeah. You just show the adventurers where they're gonna sell their old weapons to buy new ones.
Yeah. So okay, we gotta have a Codex of Lore. Zelda again sort of half hits this mark. Sorry, Breath of the Wild. You're looking pretty shitty. Anyway, we move on. The next criteria that we can use to determine if a game is good or not is how many meters are in it.
Yeah, we need bars, energy bars, health bars, mana bars, progress bars.
I need to have a ton of bars, and I need them all to be filled by different things, and I need there to be special like benchmarks on each bar where passing it means a different thing, and they need to all be spent for different purposes. I think, Joe, we've been focusing a lot on Monster Train. Monster Train, I don't think, has a lot of meters. You know what I think is the gold standard for meters? You know what I'm going to say, Joe. It's Monster Hunter.
Yes, Monster Hunter has, like every weapon except for maybe two of them has a weird inscrutable meter that you have to manage. And everyone insists that this is fun.
And the reason they do so is that it's true. Meters fucking whip. I love meters.
Oh, yeah, because like when a meter fills up, usually it means like you unlock sicko mode. Like it fucking rules.
Like, people think that Monster Hunter, the game, is about like dodging the monster and discovering good times to attack it safely and then get away from harm. No, that is a mini game. The real game is ensuring that when your meter fills up, you are able to most efficiently utilize the bonuses and goodies that you get.
Meters kick ass, and the other thing that games with many meters can do is like when you complete a level and like all the stuff you get gets dumped into your possession and you get to see maybe like 3 or 4 meters fill up. Monster Hunter doesn't do that. There's definitely like that good feeling where at the end where it shows you all like the parts you carved off, but you don't get to see like 6 bars fill up and like empty out as you dump monster parts into it, which is a huge design oversight.
Yeah, for real. That sucks. Actually, now I hate Monster Hunter because of that. It should have had that meter. Now, Hades is pretty good. It has the call meter. You can get like a god that you can call on, and it does like a super attack that takes like the entire room, just fills it up with bullshit that helps you. Now, the thing I like about that meter is that there are 5 segments. Now, if you use your call when the bar isn't full, it uses up one of the full segments, not all 5. But if you can fill the meter all the way, all 5 segments full, it clears the whole thing and gives you a sicko version of the call. Now that's, to me, incredible meter management.
You're also failing to mention that when it's full, like full, it's on fire.
Oh my god. Oh, shit, that's the best. That's how you know the meter is strong.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about meters. What's the next criteria? Well, obviously, you gotta ask. I gotta ask you.
Yeah, this one's pretty simple.
Does it have a weirdly deep and in-depth minigame that has no connection to the rest of the gameplay, but gives you absolutely distilled, pure Skinner box brain rewards such that you spend 10 hours on it.
The gold standard for this is Yakuza, where you have a thrilling crime drama and you can straight up spend 30 hours doing slot car racing.
Yeah, I did that. I was playing Yakuza 0, and when you're Majima, the eye patch guy, there's this little mini game where you manage a cabaret club.
It's so fun. It's barely a game.
It's like, if you look at it objectively, it's the worst way to spend your time. Because what it is you have a roster of girls who each have, they have cute and beauty and talk and funny skills. And they have HP bars that represent how much they can talk to some annoying Japanese guy before they get sick of it. And you have to pick your roster, and you have to pick which type of customer you're going to attract this time. And they come in one by one, and each one of them is richer than the other. You have to make sure you don't spend your great girls on the poor man. You have to wait and hold them in reserve until a very rich guy comes in, so he will give her many tips. And
if this game sounds awful to you, you're right.
There's almost zero gameplay.
It's so... it's all I wanted to do.
Because, Joe, what happens when you fucking successfully do a shift at the cabaret club? One, you get money. That's numbies. That's a goodie.
You get money, and then this is it. This is why I didn't realize it was gripping me so bad. At the end of a night at the cabaret club, all the waitresses that were working get a bunch of experience points, and you get to see their XP bars and their skills go up.
Oh my God, Joe! It's meters. Because you have like 10 girls on your staff at a night, so that's 10 meters.
Yeah. Another game that had a very not worth it mini game that takes over my brain is, well, honestly, also Yakuza, because the fucking stupid real estate game,
which is even less of a game. It literally is just you go to a building, and if you have enough money, you can buy it. And then when you buy it, every couple of minutes, the payout that you get is a little bigger because you have an extra building paying you. And that's it.
Yeah. I know there's a mod for The Witcher that makes all of the fights in The Witcher 3 just like the card game. And that mod is what happens if you tap purely and uncut into this principle.
Mm-hmm. And it fucking whips. And just Joe, a lot of old Zelda games had mini game parlors where you could play fun little mini games and waste hours. I remember when I was playing Ocarina of Time as a young man, I would go to the shooting galleries and the bomb chew galleries, and I had a grand old time. I loved playing them, and I made sure I played them until I got the grand prize. Zelda Breath of the Wild takes place in a post-apocalypse where no one remembers what mini-games are. Boo!
Yeah, there's no fucking crane game. There needs to be a little hut with goofy music and a heart piece in it.
It's honestly shameful.
All right, so as you know, 11 is the most sciencey number, and we're coming upon it. This is the final criteria of our master-proof system. Tom? Close us out.
Number 11. Does it drown out my awful thoughts?
So, Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of contemplative moments.
A lot of long traversals over beautiful, bleak landscapes, empty of all life, where you're just contemplating the concept of movement and the gorgeous landscape around you as you slowly make your way.
There's a lot of parts where you'll see some sort of feature of geography in the distance and have no idea how to get there, and you just sort of have to sit and think about your best bet of trying to get to that location.
There's a lot of times where you'll see something, you'll come across an unexpected beautiful surprise in the world, and you'll look at it and you'll wonder, what is this? What does this mean? Like, what is the story behind this? What is the significance of this? And the game refuses to tell you, and it leaves you to contemplate, like, what does this mean to you?
Huge error. That shit sucks. All that is bad. That is encouraging more thought.
Yeah, I think all the time, and I fucking hate it. And, like, gaming sucks. And the one good thing it does is it takes my awful brain, which will never stop chattering, and it shows it a train, and it's like, here are some cards. What cards do you want? And I'm like, that one. And then it keeps doing that over and over and over until I fall asleep.
Yeah, a video game should be filled with so many interlocking, busy, stupid systems that, like, I am unable to conceive of life outside of the four walls around me when I'm playing it. I have to be completely occupied. It needs to be a big fidget toy for my brain.
Mm-hmm. And I'm ever thinking of something other than, like, which one of these multipliers give me bigger numby? That's a failure on the part of the game. And this is, I think, something that the old form of games criticism really struggled with, because one thing that old games critics liked to praise were, like, arty games that had, like, high-minded stories and, like, ethical quandaries, and, like, really leaned into the fact that, like, games can tell beautiful and complex stories. And they liked that? Like, that just is wrong. Like, that's not right.
Yeah, the correct answer is, like, what kind of chemicals does it produce in your brain?
Like, do the lights ever stop flashing enough that I remember that I was not looking at flashing lights at one point? It better not.
If so, it failed.
For real. So, again, Zelda fucking... It goes completely the wrong way on this. You gotta wonder what they were thinking, because it's so deeply the wrong decision. Breath of the Wild, if you look back on our 11 criteria, which, again, to review, were, do you build a deck? Do you upgrade a town? Are gems collectible? Do I have to hear another human being's voice to play it as intended? Do I get a goodie all the time? Can I achieve exponential scaling? Does it have a big codex of lore? How many meters are there? Does it have a weirdly deep minigame, and does it drown out my awful thoughts? Why, the only thing that it hits 100% is the voice shit and the town shit. Everything else...
I would argue the town is even partial credit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, like, the whole purpose of upgrading a town in a game is that the blacksmith will then make something for you or whatever, and the benefits to upgrading that town were not robust.
Yeah, the benefits to upgrading the town was that you got to see the town get big.
That doesn't do it for me.
Okay, so that's half credit. So it got half credit on upgrading a town. It got half credit on gems being collectible. Full credit on not hearing another person's voice. And half credit on having a big codex of lore. So that's 1.5 out of 11. Oof. Going by our completely scientifically airtight grading rubric, The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch is a terrible video game.
Yeah, it's not good. And in case this isn't clear, we also mean the Wii U version that kind of came out too.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, Joe, that's incredible. We really, like... It always feels good when we really put a lot of effort into research for one of these episodes and we lay it down, and I, like, feel... at the end, like, we've made our case so strongly. Like, a lot of times with podcasts, you fear that, like, you're gonna realize at the end, like, I could have said that so much better. I didn't explain myself well. I feel like we really laid our foundation so strongly that no one could ever refute this.
Yeah, and, like, any person that would likely just has not experienced exponential scaling.
Yeah. There's actually one thing that I just thought of that just occurred to me that maybe we should take into account.
What is it?
Breath of the Wild actually fucking, like, kicks ass. Like, it's incredible. Like, it's the best game.
Yeah, it's good. We, like, really chunked it on the system.
Yeah, this fucking system blows. This episode's a wash. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Anime Sickos. Yeah. I've been Tom, an anime sicko.
Hey, I'm Joe, an anime sicko, and they all can't be winners.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.